right, thank you for joining us today for our Aquarium at Home live stream. I am here with Pearl, I believe. This is our one of our possums, one of our animal ambassadors from our education department. And today's on-screen expert is Susie Green. Susie, can you tell us a little bit about what your role is here at the aquarium, what you do, and maybe who you work with most frequently?
Yeah, I am very lucky that I get to combine two of my loves. I get to work with some of our very youngest members and their families, as well as our education ambassador animals.
Okay, and Pearl is a good example of one of those. So Pearl has been with us for how long?
Pearl has been with us for just a little over a year. She's almost a year and a half right now.
And so for possums, what kind of, where would that put her in terms of her lifespan? Is she still a baby? Is she a teenager?
She is actually considered getting to be an older possum. Generally, an opossum will live to be about a year and a half to 2 to 3 years at the most in their natural habitat. Here at the aquarium, with good veterinary care and a balanced managed diet, then we're able to have them outlive that normal life expectancy, and so they'll live close to 3.5 to 4 years.
All right. So, is there a specific kind of possum?
So she's different than the possums found in Australia, and she's really unique to North America in that she is the only marsupial. Now, just in case you don't know what a marsupial means, think about some other common animals that are also marsupials, and I bet you can figure it out. For example, a kangaroo is a marsupial, and so if you think about what's kind of unique to the way a kangaroo raises her babies is that she has a pouch, and the Virginia opossum also has a pouch. She's the only animal in North America that has a pouch in which to raise her young.
All right. Well, that is a good science vocabulary word for those of you who are watching from home who might be watching with some younger children, or if you're watching on your own and you happen to be a student, thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of you who are joining us. It looks like we've got quite a few people watching. And as you go ahead and pass those questions on to us, and I'll pass them on to Susie, and Susie will get all of your questions answered as best we can. So, and also let us know where you're watching from, because we always like to know what kind of reach we're getting on these videos. We know we have fans all over the place, so let us know where you are watching from. And in the meantime, we do have some questions coming in. Carolyn Singer asks on behalf of 7-year-old Emma, how many babies do possums have?
Well, possums can have up to about 20 young born, but that does not mean they'll all survive, because inside that pouch there are 13 little nipples, and so that means that the most that are going to survive are 13, but it's more common for them to have a litter of only 8 or 9.
Okay. So where did Pearl come from? How did Pearl end up at the aquarium?
Pearl actually came to us as a rescue animal. Her mother was killed on a road. She was hit by a car, and Pearl was still inside mama's pouch. Someone stopped and realized that there were babies and was able to rescue her and bring her to a wildlife rehabilitation clinic. And when it was determined that she would not be a good candidate to be released back into their natural habitat, then they needed to find a more permanent home, and we were able to provide that.
Now, what is Pearl eating?
Right now, she's eating pieces of apple and pieces of grapes. Now, that's one of the other kind of unusual things about a possum. As you can see, they have that really long snout, and inside that snout, or inside their jaw, there's long jaws, she actually has about 50 teeth. And those teeth are good for all kinds of things. So she eats just about anything that she wants. She's going to eat lots of vegetative matter, like rodents. One of her all-time favorite things is to eat what we call carrion. And carrion are dead, decaying animals. That might not sound very appetizing to you and I, but it is actually a very important job or role that she's playing in nature. You can think of her kind of like the cleanup crew. Now, you also may notice that she's leaving behind some things. She does not for us.
So is this like the marsupial equivalent of having to cut the crust off of a kid's sandwich?
It is exactly like that, or peeling our own apples for a snack.
All right. Allison Moore is asking on behalf of 5-year-old John Sawyer, how long will they get when they are grown?
Well, she is a full-grown possum right now, but just like with people, there's a lot of variation in size, and so she can She's fairly small as possums go. They can weigh up to anywhere from 6 to 20 pounds, so you can imagine there's quite a big difference there. And they can get to be from tail to the tip of their snout close to 2 feet long.
All right. So we've mentioned the word marsupial, and you've mentioned some examples of marsupials. What makes a marsupial a marsupial?
A marsupial gets its name from the pouch that they have. So when the babies are born, they are very undeveloped. They don't have fur, they can't open their eyes, they can't really even open their ears, so they don't even really look much like little possums. They just have little nubs for legs. And once they're born, the mom will lick a path to the pouch, and the little babies find their way up into the pouch, at which point they grab a hold of one of those little nipples that swells full of milk, and they will then spend the next 2 months living inside of the mom's pouch.
So why are possums the only marsupial in North America? Why are so many of them so many of them are found in Australia?
And that's a question that I really don't have a good answer for. I just know that that's one that possums like this have been around basically since the
Sorry about the connection issues we're having here. We are in the aquarium's lobby of our... Stick with us, sorry about that. Aaron Fender would like to know, what kinds of foods does a possum eat? So you've covered a little bit of that, but if you don't mind, some people are probably joining the stream a little bit later and didn't catch that.
Perfectly fine. She eats just about anything. She's considered an omnivore and a scavenger, meaning that she will go out looking for food, and she's not very picky about that food. So she's going to eat fruits and other plant matter. She's going to eat snails, slugs. She'll even eat venomous snakes and other snakes. She'll eat small rodents like mice. She'll eat eggs, and she'll eat different types of insects. Basically, if she can get it in her mouth, she's going to want to eat it. And one of the best things that she does for us is that she eats those dead, decaying animals. So oftentimes we see a possum on the side of the road, and oftentimes they're there because they're cleaning up where another animal has had an unfortunate run-in with a vehicle.
All right, so Susan Morgan Smith says, you may already have answered this, but what made Pearl not eligible to be released?
A lot of times it has to do with the disposition that they have. If they don't show a big fear of humans. Some possums naturally will demonstrate some defensive measures even when they're very little, things like opening up their mouth and gaping, hissing. Others, when they're very young, tend to want to walk right up to people. And if they're not afraid of humans, then it often does not bode very well for their chances of survival.
Drew Counts would like to know, how long have you been working at the aquarium?
I've been working at the aquarium for 25 years.
Wow. And the aquarium has only been open for I can't even do the math right now.
I started about 2.5
28
years after the aquarium opened.
Wow. Why have you stayed so long?
Because I absolutely love the aquarium and the family kind of atmosphere and the people that I've gotten to meet and the animals that I've gotten to work with.
Great. So we have a little more than 200 people watching right now, and I know that some of you are watching with us, and I know that they've got to have some questions about possums. So please type those down in the comments, and I'm trying to pass these on as often as I can to Susie. And while we're waiting for some of those questions to come in, we do have a question from the Institute.
Pearl actually does do outreach programs sometimes, so Pearl has gone out to visit schools and early childhood programs, so I am sure that can be arranged.
Laura McNutt would like to know, how long do possums live?
They typically only live to be about 1.5 years to 2 years old, with some of the oldest possums in their natural habitat living to be about 3. And so at 1.5 years, she is considered getting to be an older possum.
Okay. And she is what we like to call our ambassador, and she's an example of an ambassador animal here at the aquarium. Can you talk a little bit about the role that our ambassador animals play and why it's important for animals like Pearl to do programs like this and to interact with the public?
Well, one of the things about our possums is they often have kind of a bad rap, and so people look at them and they think they're just a big giant rat, and they're really very unique animals with a lot of really unusual characteristics, and they're very common here in our own backyard, but often misunderstood. And so it's important to me for people to understand the things that share our space with us, not just here at the aquarium, but out in our own backyards. Because possums are found not only out in the country, but also out in the cities. It can be learn about the animals and gain a better appreciation and understanding of them. And that's what our ambassador animals do. They help people get an up-close look at an animal that maybe they don't have a chance to experience on their own.
And if you've never been to the aquarium, we actually have a really wide variety of animals that serve in ambassadorial roles. I mean, we've got Pearl here, obviously, but we've also got plenty of reptiles and amphibians. Can you tell people who are watching, if they've never had a chance to visit, what are some of the other animals that if they ever do come and see, what they might be able to, who they might be able to meet?
Well, we do have a variety of reptiles from some native, some from other parts of the world. We also have other small mammals like our flying squirrels that sometimes come out. We have marine invertebrates and terrestrial invertebrates, or those that are found on land. We have kind of a combination of both native species as well as non-native species.
Okay. And to go back to a little bit of science vocabulary, you mentioned earlier that Pearl is an omnivore. So if you're watching or you're younger and maybe that word left you a little confused, what is an omnivore?
An omnivore just means that they will eat just about anything. So an herbivore is going to eat primarily plants. A carnivore is going to eat primarily meat. An insectivore is going to eat primarily insects. And things like opossums that are omnivores, they're going to eat a little bit of everything. They're not very picky about it.
Kind of like us.
Yes. They have some kind of unusual ways of finding going. She does not have very large eyes. As a nocturnal animal, she's not going to rely as much on her eyesight as some of her other senses. So while other nocturnal animals certainly do have those very large eyes and would use their eyes, possums tend to rely more on their sense of smell. And so we kind of work with our animals that are our ambassador animals to help demonstrate some of those natural behaviors and how she might use that snout to find her food. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give her a little bit of a snack down here, and then we're going to set up kind of a game for her and see if she can find her food using just her sense of smell. So we're going to do that by hiding some of her favorite food under one of these hollowed out acorns, and then we'll see if she'll be able to come down and identify where it is. So that she's looking the other way, so she can't see where we've hidden it.
Kind of a possum shell game.
Yes. So we'll see what she does. First, you got to spit out that apple peel. And you can see it doesn't take her very long to identify exactly where that food is. And we'll do it again, and we'll put the food under a different spot so that it's obvious that she is using that sense of smell to be able to locate that food.
While you're setting that up, I've got a comment from Amanda Manders who says, "Hello from Inglewood, Tennessee. We love possums. That's my son's nickname."
Oh, that's great. I have to admit, I love possums too, because they are really unique animals with their characteristics, not only of being able to, or having that pouch, but also their back feet look very much like our hands. And so if you were to hold your hand up and you can see you have 4 fingers and a thumb, that's an opposable thumb, which just means you can kind of move it around. Their back foot is set up very much the same way with an opposable thumb. And so they can use their back foot much like we use our hands to grab and hold on to things. They also have this tail that we call it a naked tail. It just simply means that they don't have a lot of fur. Oh, she's finished her snack, so we're going to see if she can find that food again.
Didn't take her very long.
Not at all. She always likes to check out where it was the first time and see if it just happens to be there again. But she can use that snout to determine that it is not there and then quickly move on to the next one. But as I was saying, she's got that tail that it's semi-prehensile. That means she can kind of wrap it around things. And when she's very young, she'll use that tail to wrap around tree branches or even to hold on to the mom's fur. As an adult, she can wrap around a tree branch with it use it to hang on, kind of like having an extra appendage when we're climbing a tree, or she can use it like a rope when she's going down a steep hill. She also uses it to carry things. And so they do tend to nest in cavities or a hollow tree or in kind of a burrow under a rock or something like that, or even high up in the trees. And so as she's building her nest each morning, she's going to line that with leaves and twigs and grasses, and so that to make it a little more comfortable for her. And so she'll use her snout to decide, this is the leaves that I want. She pushes with her snout down to her front legs, and then pushes with her front legs under her belly to her back legs, and then uses her back legs to push it all the way out to her tail, which then she'll wrap around and she'll grab a big handful of bedding to carry it with her to wherever she's going to lay down for the day.
So that actually segues nicely into discussion of today's question for Weekday Wonders, which if you haven't been watching our live streams this week, we have started a new initiative where we have a series of curated educational activity packets that are being released every day in 5-day series. So we're calling them 5-day weeks that are curated by our education department, so people like Susie. And today's question is, where do animals live in the forest?
Well, with an opossum like this, they do live in a forested area, but as I said, they can also live downtown, so they're pretty good at adapting. They're going to try to find a place that provides some kind of shelter. That can be a shed if they're living more or closer to humans. If they're out further away in a more wild environment, then they're going to find a hollow tree, a stump, or kind of a den area that they could lay down in. They do move throughout the forest, and so they don't necessarily stay on the same place. They can go up the trees. They can also stay on the forest floor. They're not great swimmers, but they can if they need to be. They do have to have water in their environment. So there's usually going to be some kind of source of water. And then they kind of wander from place to place looking for good food.
All right, and Kimberly Bowen asks probably the most important question of the whole live stream, which is it possum or opossum? Because if you're hearing me say possum, it might just be my Appalachian accent coming out. I might not be saying it correctly, but is there a definitive answer to that?
I think it's however you would like to pronounce it. Generally, the O is silent, but it's spelled with an O.
All right. Anna Quintrell asks, what do you call an opossum that goes back for seconds on soup? And I don't know if I'm sure that's a joke, but...
I hope she can tell me the answer. I've never offered our possum soups.
There probably is I'm sure she responded further down in the comments, but I haven't quite made it down that far. Allison Nelson would like to know, has Pearl had any litters?
She has not. One of the things that we do when an animal comes in as an ambassador animal, currently Pearl is our only possum, and for her health, just like you may with a cat or a dog, we do have her spayed, and so she will not have a litter of young.
Okay. Angela Beasley says, I notice you're keeping your hand behind your back at all times. Is there a reason for that?
No, not necessarily. I tend to cue her with my hands, and so by keeping only the hand that I'm calling her with out where she can see, it's just less confusing for her.
All right. Lou Everman says, 6-year-old Julie is confused by this fish. We are curious why the aquarium also takes care of non-aquatic animals. I can't see the rest of the comment, but maybe we can talk about why we exhibit and care for animals that are not aquatic.
They're going to be in a solitary habitat with nothing else around them. And so we may find the possum in the cove forest, living right along with the fish that are living in the stream there. The possum also relies on that fresh water, maybe in a little different way than the fish, but it's still a very important part of their life as well, at keeping them alive.
All right. And Natalie Deering would like to know, on behalf of Peyton, if Pearl can see colors.
That is a great question, and I don't know the answer to that one, so I'll have to do a little research on that.
Okay. Stephanie McClear would like to know, do you have any other possums, or usually just one at a time, and would they get along together if you did have multiple ones?
We have had multiple possums in the past. However, they are fairly solitary, which means that they like to kind of be on their own. They're pretty much loners. Once they reach the stage where they can survive without the help of mom, then they kind of go out on their own, wandering around looking for food, and so they don't really hang out together. And so we would not house them together, simply because that is not what would make them most.
Joy Morris says, thank you for doing these lives. Thank you for watching, Joy. We appreciate everybody who's watching today's live stream and all the live streams that we do. While the aquarium remains closed, we're trying to do one every single day, usually around 1 o'clock. Though if you check our Facebook page in the mornings, you can find out if there happens to be an outlier and we have to go in a little bit early. For instance, when we did our Arapaima feeding and training, we had to start that particular live a little bit early, but for the most part, we try and stick to this 1 o'clock window. So please continue to watch them. We love seeing all the comments, all the shout outs from all over the country, all over the world, really, for some of these. And yeah, hopefully you're learning something and we're helping you distract yourself a little bit from the situation at hand. Linda Larson says, Steve says, hi, Miss Susie, miss you.
Hi, Steve. I miss all of my small fry and aquarium adventure kids, too. I'm glad that you're watching the videos, though.
Yeah, hopefully we're reaching a lot of parents with stay-at-home children or who are homebound with children right now, because I know that this is probably serving as a nice educational break, a science hour for a lot of people. So hopefully we're teaching you some fun possum facts, giving you some science vocabulary along the way. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Oh, Ariana Sclerandis, I have probably mispronounced that. I should apologize. Usually I do earlier in the stream, but I'm going to mispronounce names. I probably already have. But would like to know on behalf of 11-year-old Roman, are possums blind?
They are not blind, but they do not necessarily have great depth perception or great eyesight. But they are not blind.
Now, no one has asked, at least not in the comments I've seen so far, why are you tapping on the table?
That's because they rely on their sense of hearing. You can see she has very large ears. So they rely on their sense of hearing and their sense of smell. And so tapping on the table is just a cue to her that says, if you want to come this direction, then I have a treat for you.
And that actually kind of dovetails nicely into talking about our approach to all of our training here at the aquarium is all about, it's all positive.
We do try to make it all very positive so that they have a choice. If they have a choice and they want to work with us and they know that we're not going to force them to do things, then they develop a greater trust with us.
All right, Miss Melissa Buckley wants to know, I have heard that they make good pets. Is that true?
I would not say that they make good pets. First of all, they tend to be active when we're wanting to go to sleep. They tend to sleep a good bit of the day. They are not long-lived, and so that also is often a factor. And in some areas, it's not legal to have them as a pet. It's always best to have the animal in their natural habitat, and when there's a reason that they cannot be, then having them as an ambassador animal, like these or the others that we have at the aquarium, it's a good alternative.
Kaylee Daffrin, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, says, hi Susie, Ellie wants to know what's Pearl's favorite snack.
Her favorite snack is fish, and hi Kaylee and Ellie.
Did I get that name right?
You did.
All right. Points to me. Jessica Clack wants to know a possum. Well, she just wants to say that possums are like the superheroes of animals.
They really are. I mean, like I said very early on, they're very misunderstood. They do a lot of really good things for us, and one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that they stop the spread of a lot of diseases. They can eat up to 5,000 ticks within a single season, and so that helps to stop things like Lyme disease and other tick-borne diseases. They also are not known to be carriers of rabies because their body temperature is lower, and they eat those venomous snakes, in which the snakes have a role there too. So, but a lot of people are a little uncomfortable around the venomous ones, and she will help with that.
Donna Stokes would like to know, are they friendly? Could you hold her?
She does not like to be touched, and that's one reason that we don't touch her. She's very comfortable around people, but she does not want us to reach out and touch her. If I were to try to pick her up, there's a good chance she would let me know she was unhappy.
All right. Gwen Jones says, hi, Susie, lovely to see you and Pearl. And it looks like we got a lot of people shouting out and saying it's lovely to see you and lovely to see Pearl. So thank you all for tuning in to watch.
I really appreciate it. It looks like
Jack and Lincoln say hello and thank you for doing those videos for us. That's from Stephanie A's, or probably mispronounced that. Jessica Clack wants to know, is their fur soft or coarse?
Their fur has kind of coarse on the top, and then the under fur is softer, kind of like you might think of a cat feeling. Pearl's getting a little impatient here. She's probably just about finished. She thinks I'm not giving her her snacks fast enough right now.
Okay, so it sounds like we're probably going to need to wrap up this live stream then. If I haven't gotten to your question, I am very, very sorry, but we have to go at the pace that makes sense for Pearl. And in this case, sounds like we've probably reached the end of this. Thank you again so much for joining us. And if you're interested at all in any more activities kind of like this, we do have resources set aside and compiled in one location for you on our website, tnaqua.org. If you go to our Aquarium at Home section, you can find out all about our live streams and our online webcams that we have going. We have activity sheets you can download and print off that have some coloring pages, some fun activities you can do with your kids that are a little more science-based, get you out of the house maybe, engage in some citizen science in your backyard. I've mentioned Weekday Wonders. Weekday Wonders started last week, but we're starting to incorporate it into these live streams starting this week, but moving forward, it'll be every single day in 5-day increments. Those are our weeks for the Weekday Wonder. And those also are on our website. If you go to the Aquarium at Home subsection of our website at tnaqua.org, you can check those out. And if you're at all interested in helping to support people support the aquarium and help to offset the cost of us remaining closed, obviously we still have people like Susie here fighting the good fight and taking care of all of our animals, and there is expense associated with that. So we do have an emergency operations fund set up that you can donate to. If you go to tnaqua.org, click on our donate tab, you can donate to it through there, which obviously we would appreciate any contribution you can make. We know it's a hard time for everybody, but every little bit counts. And please make sure that you share this live stream with others if they missed tuning in. We will be doing these every day at 1 p.m. and if you can always watch it after the fact. So do share it with your friends, and hopefully we'll build up more followers and have lots more people watching tomorrow when we kick things off again about 1 p.m. I can't remember what the topic is, but tune in the morning. You can find out what that is at about 11 o'clock. So thank you again for watching. We're going to end the live stream. Thank you very much, Susie. Thank you, Pearl. And we'll see you next time.